Good evening, everyone, and welcome. I'm so glad to see all of you here. First, I'd like to give a special welcome to the Hollywood Health and Society donors. We have with us Bob Deniston from the White House Office of National Drug Control Policy. And I'd like to recognize our board member, Sylvia Gold, and also the co-chair of the Hollywood Health and Society Board, Dr. Neil Baer. Thank you all for coming. Thanks also to the Lear Center and Hollywood Health and Society staff who have organized this wonderful evening for us. A special thank you to Courtney Singer, who's sitting in the doorway. Okay. So Hollywood Health and Society works with television writers to get them accurate health information from experts for their scripts. And we also put on events several times a year to address the most important public health topics of our time. And some topics of particular interest over the past year have been the medical aspects of addiction, the psychological aspects of addictive behavior, and the various personal and social consequences of addiction. And writers calling us have been interested in addiction to prescription drugs, street drugs, alcohol, cigarettes, and more. And tonight we have an extraordinary panel who will speak to you about the many facets of addiction. You'll hear from a high-level addiction policy expert from the U.S. National Institutes of Health. Also, established television writers and producers will talk about creating and writing powerful shows about addiction. And also on the panel is a well-known expert who specializes in the medical treatment of addiction, and she's followed by a specialist who will talk about the enormous global problem of tobacco addiction. And last but not least, you'll hear some compelling personal stories from a recovering addict who is also a celebrated author. To speak with us tonight about addiction and addictive behavior from a national policy perspective, I am delighted to introduce Dr. Timothy Condon. Dr. Condon is Deputy Director of the National Institute on Drug Abuse, NIDA, which is part of the National Institutes of Health. At NIDA, Dr. Condon leads NIDA's research programs and the setting of strategic priorities. And drawing on a lifetime of work in neuroscience, Dr. Condon guides the Institute in bringing science-based findings to community treatment settings. He has initiated enduring partnerships with multiple stakeholder groups, including other federal agencies, the criminal justice system, and treatment and prevention practitioner communities. Dr. Condon interacts with audiences around the country to communicate knowledge about the fundamental aspects of drug abuse, from emerging trends to how drugs work in the brain and body to promising approaches for treatment and prevention. We very much look forward to hearing his presentation, so please join me in giving a warm welcome to Dr. Timothy Condon.